This is Mike with FrontRangeBouldering.com, and we're here at a slideshow at Neptune's Mountaineering. We're talking with Sir Chris Bonnington. Mr. Bonnington, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
So you've done any number of things. Your climbing resume just can't be matched by anyone else. Is there anyone else that has a similar degree, in your opinion, with your kind of resume, sir?
Oh, I'd say there's several I can think of who's got an even better one. No, Reinhold Messner. I mean, he is the greatest mountaineer of all time.
Oh, coming from you, that's saying something.
Well, no, and he's certainly done a hell of a lot more than I've done.
Did you ever climb with the gentleman?
I've climbed with Reinhold, yes, a good friend of mine.
So you went climbing today, did you not? And what did you climb? What kind of climbing were you doing?
Oh, God, my climbing these days is very gentle. No, went with Gary Neptune up onto into Boulder Canyon, onto the Dome, and it was a really nice 5.7, and that's my kind of leading standard, 5.7, 5.8 these days.
So you are recognized as one of the great explorers of modern times. Does that make you feel awkward to be described that way?
I wouldn't say I'm an explorer. I'm a mountaineer. I love doing new routes, and of course when you're doing new routes you are exploring. And I suppose as well, I became quite good at leading expeditions and leading big complicated ones like, say, the south face of Annapurna and the southwest face of Everest. Wow,
and you did the first ascent of the Old Man of Hawaii with Tom Petty.
Did that way back in 1966.
What was that like?
Oh, it was great. Well, Tom Petty was one of the great characters of British mountaineering. He was a very, very dear friend. Tragically died on one of the sea stacks that he was climbing in 1970. But, that was just a wonderful adventure.
You were on the Eiger with Leighton Core. What are your thoughts on Leighton Core?
Oh, Leighton was great. I mean, this was in 1966 with John Harlan, and John Harlan was the driving force behind it, trying to make the first ascent of the Eiger Direct. And it ended up a race with a big German team as well. And we ended up having to siege it because the weather was so bad. And Leighton and I originally came along, not as a member of the team. I went along as the photographer for the Telegraph magazine. But when they started sieging it, they had fixed ropes on it, which meant I could get high. And also, there was only 3 of them, Leighton Core, John Harlan and Dougal Haston, and they just needed another person. So I was basically holding Leighton's rope while he climbed this big rock pillar, which is the most fantastic bit of climbing, and getting photographs. And then got round the corner, and there's a really steep ice gully. And Leighton wasn't an ice climber.
No.
And, I'm reasonably confident on ice, so I led it. And it was very, very thin.
Wow. So, Bob Culp wanted me to ask you this. The Chamonix Guide Service, have you heard of a gentleman called René Desmaisons?
René Desmaisons, yeah, I know him, yep.
Now, he got kicked out of the Chamonix Guide Service for rescuing 2 Germans. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I don't know anything about that story, so I can't express an opinion.
What are your thoughts on the style of climbing in the Lake District, especially Dave Burkett, his style of climbing?
Well, Dave Burkett's a very good climber, good rock climber, as there are many, many others. I think rather than talking about any one individual, I think the important thing about British climbing is the fact that we've remained totally faithful to trad climbing. There are no pitons and there are no bolts in any of the traditional routes or traditional climbing areas in the United Kingdom. Now, there are places where there is sport climbing, that is places where you wouldn't want to be a trad climber. And so the key thing is you just do not put in bolts, you do not put in pitons, and you just climb with your natural pro, with your camming devices, with your nuts and everything else. And that to me is what climbing is all about.
That's cool. What are your thoughts on women climbing these days?
Well, they're climbing unbelievably well. And I think I suspect that probably with serious horse riding, they're the 2 sports where women are every bit as good as men. They haven't got, the men haven't got the physical strength kind of advantage. Because the thing about climbing is it's not about pure physical strength. Climbing is all about, flexibility, it's about power-weight ratio, It's about kind of your mental processes. And in all of these things, women have shown themselves to be every bit as good as men. And I mean, women like Lynn Hill, I mean, are world-class climbers and as good as anywhere there is. And they're very good at high altitude climbing as well.
Mr. Bonnington, do you climb indoors? Do you boulder?
I did boulder when I was young, and I loved bouldering and was quite good at it. And now that I'm that much older, I don't like bouldering because I think as you stiffen up, even with boulder mats, I just don't like jumping off. And as far as indoor climbing goes, yeah, and if you live in England, I mean, we have terrible weather, loads of rain, and in the winter particularly, we have very short days. And therefore, just to keep fit, I go on to our climbing gyms. But I think, you know, I do it because I have to. I like climbing outside.
For Friends Bouldering, this is Mike Brooks. We've been chatting with Sir Chris Bonnington. Sir, thank you for your time.
Great to talk to you.
Wow, thank you.